Hey, this is Christy Mattoon here from Rewire. I don't really have any good information for you today, but I do have a question. And I'm trying to understand this. Years ago, my mom had these sores all over her body and talked about how she felt like she had something crawling underneath her skin. And they just kind of treated her with a cream and covered the sores so she wouldn't pick at them. And somebody had started sending me these videos on Morgellons disease. And so I took a look at them and I was like, well, I don't really know what to think about it. And nobody could diagnose my mom anyway. She had so many other things going on. It just kind of got let go. But the sores never cleared up until the day she died. So I want you to take a look at a couple of videos. This first one I'm going to show you is just a couple minutes long, and then we're going to backtrack to what's going on today, and then I will give you my question.
In my skin, which is the creepiest feeling. When I first was looking at my sores, I could see like projections coming out of them. A little bit of color, like I'm super healthy. I'm sick with this disease. It's called Morgellons, and it's really weird. No one believes it.
Morgellons, a mysterious infection that, according to some researchers, affects tens of thousands of Americans. Its symptoms are strange and otherworldly. Enormous skin lesions with multicolored fibers of red and blue and green growing out of them.
I remember when I first heard about Morgellons, but I didn't believe it. I didn't want to have something controversial. I wanted to have something that has existed before, has an answer. But all my searches kept coming right back to Morgellons.
But here's the thing. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Morgellons does not exist.
That sounds like the CDC, doesn't it? Our government in action.
Many doctors believe that Morgellons is a delusional disorder, that those skin lesions, like the ones that Katie has, are self-inflicted.
That's what we kept saying to my mom, and that's what the doctors kept saying to us.
Doctors in the beginning thought that I probably had a mental problem when I showed up. They all thought I was nuts. And they would instantly just be in the role of, be gone with her, we can't help her.
I guess the tension in all of this is that Morgellons doesn't officially exist, that the CDC says it doesn't exist.
I think it makes a lot of us a lot more sick, the anger of being categorized like that and then neglected.
And that's just really horrifying, and that unfortunately happens a lot in medicine. But here they have a doctor, let me see if I can get to that part of it, who had done a lot of studies on it, but we'll play this for just another second, and then I'll move on to another video.
Who, depending on your view of Morgellons, can be one of several things. A savior, a medical pioneer, or a quack. Dr. Stricker says Morgellons is linked to Lyme disease.
So this guy talks a lot about the fibers, never could really figure out what they are, but was able to help people, right? So detoxing and doing whatever he was doing to help them calm their symptoms down. Now, on another hand, let's see, that's going to be the same one. Let's take a look at this gal's real quick.
Around the world claim the same set of symptoms. Sores that cover the body, chronic fatigue, and strangest of all, mysterious multicolored fibers that seem to sprout from under their skin. In 2008, Tina Ingressia from California discovered she also had these strange fibers.
I had almost ribbons coming out of my tongue that weren't microscopic at all. Some of them are long. They're all wrapped up on each other, and they just come out. It's like a horror movie. It is like a science fiction horror movie.
Pharmacology professor Randy Wymore has studied these fibers in his attempt to understand the condition.
When I first started this research, I thought that the fibers were really held the key to this condition. Identify what the fibers are, we can figure out where they come from.
Makes sense.
The medical establishment argues that the fibers are nothing more than textiles from clothing, embedded in the open sores. To investigate this, Professor Wymore has taken fibers from 20 Morgellons disease sufferers. Like comparing them with a police forensic database of known materials, he hopes to find out what they could be.
The first database has around 1,200 fibers, essentially every known fiber that's used commercially.
The results are a complete surprise.
Shockingly, the fibers didn't match anything in the database.
The mystery fibers don't appear to be textiles of any kind. They don't come from clothes, carpets, or home furnishings.
We still don't know what those fibers are made out of.
Still don't know what the fibers are made out of. And my question is, well, one of my questions is, which vaccine did this come from? Let's actually fast forward. So this one was out of 2013. The first video I showed you was out of 2017. Let's come back to today. And just the other day, this popped up. There's not even a date on it. It's so new. It was just like 2 days ago. Dr. Frank Zelwowski, I believe this is German, and the whole thing is in German, but there's subtitles, English subtitles on it, so you can watch it and take a look at it. But he talks about these fibrous things that are growing inside the vials of jab medicine that he got. And let me see if I can show you a few of the pictures that he got. This is the back, or the, I can't try not to say it. Is that had a name on it? I don't know what that says. I'm not going to speculate. But this is how big he says they can be, which goes along with that one lady's story about how long they were coming out of her body, out of her tongue. Commodity. That is what that says. Wow. So I'm not finding the pictures I'm looking for. Let me do it this way. It's these, right? These legged, the ones he was seeing had 3 legs. It's a head and tentacles. He said they're colorful. They're colorful tentacles. He said he tested some of them and they were made of aluminum and carbon. So some of the tentacles were aluminum, some of the tentacles were carbon. And then we go back even a little further. So this lady's video, it was on Stu Peters' show, but I can't find it on his show anymore. The original is an interview with Stu Peters, and I found this on YouTube from Grand Supreme News. So thank you for reposting this. And she's talking about the same thing. Let's listen here for a second.
Also was able to look at the contents of a Johnson & Johnson vial.
Oh, okay.
And
all right. It's time. And if you that
trying to fast forward past this
is out of control.
Let's see.
fragments were in there. They were not metallic fragments I'm used to seeing, and were exotic. They were very opaque, as well as as the edge of the cover slide, so the cover slip, you put a glass partition on that or a piece on top of the glass slide, there are edges. And so all the particulates, all these colors started to move to the edge, and there was self-assembling going on. Things were growing. They looked synthetic. And then there was one particular, I'd say, object or organism, I'm not sure what to call it, that had tentacles coming from it. And it was able to...
Look at that!
So, here we are again, right? The tentacles, Dr. I think her name is Madras, Dr. Carrie Madras. She even said that they were colorful. They had color to them. She said that they seemed to have a life of their own.
So she said this thing is a moving thing going on. It's moving.
Itself off of the cover, off of the glass slide.
It was alive? Like the thing was alive?
It appeared to be self-aware or be able to grow or move in space.
So it was growing, it was moving in space, it seemed to be self-aware. The tentacles were colored. Here's my question. This is where I originally started this video, was with a question. My question is, are these things that we're finding right now in the jabs, and it seems to be in all of them in different forms, right? The one that was on this one was 3 legs, had 3 tentacles. This one definitely seems to have more than that. All seem to be self-aware. All seem to be these colors, spectrum, whatever the heck they are, can move and do their own thing. Is that a is Morgellons, how do I even say this? Is Morgellons a one of these? What vaccine, I shouldn't say that word, what jab did Morgellons come out of? What jab did Morgellons come out of? And this is, this is years ago, 2017, 2013. There's even older videos than that of people talking about this. And there was tens of thousands of people with it. And I'm just curious, was Morgellons a precursor to what we're seeing in these jabs now? Write your comments below. Send me an email. I'm at mindrewire@protonmail.com. I'm just curious what everybody thinks about this. I think it's kind of crazy, and I don't typically do a lot of interviews. I don't have the connections that a lot of folks have that do this kind of work. But if anybody sees this who does have those connections, and you can ask that question of somebody, I'd be curious what they had to say, because I think there's a connection here somewhere. Bless you. I hope you have a great day. Stay away from those jabs. Keep that mask off your face. And for goodness sakes, stand up for your rights.